March 4, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. There was no economic news that came out today to really move the market, and overall price action was very, very slow today. It's very slow, and despite all these mini swings and what I think is a gradual uptrend with an overshoot, there weren't any trades that I took or I could find that were decent. The only one maybe were these two, and I'm going to go into them because I only saw really three, I would say, kind of clean setups. A couple of them, I think this one is a little more aggressive, and then I just noted this one, but I don't know how I would have trusted this without a lower high confirmation. I'm going to get to the trades now. This green dashed line is actually the all-time highs, which was formed last Friday, and as you can see today, it was kind of making its way up, and then it broke out, made a new all-time high, highest it's ever been, and then they came back below the close, made another attempt to break through, and then closed at the low, near the low of the day. Volatility and volume were very low. So this is the pre-market. Let's just go see what we look like in real time. Okay, real time looks like this. I drew the pre-market highs and the pre-market lows. Looks like there's two legs down, almost a measured move. Prices then open and they start tracking. You have a first entry short here. Technically, you have a second entry short, and you could argue this is a first entry short, second entry short failure. But as you can see, prices had a little bit of trouble, kind of pushing through here. It makes a kind of a triple test here, so I didn't really like the setup. On top of that, I wasn't truly, I guess, believing that this was the low. I was thinking maybe this price is going to move down, but this looks like it was kind of setting up to be a range day. It consolidates and kind of chops around in this range area. Nothing particularly that I like. I also want to note that I'll just kind of zoom out real quick. The entire trading price action today, but technically it was from 51.32 to about 57. So on the extreme absolute scale, it's 25 points of movement. But for most of the day, I mean, if you took it from the open, it was about from 35 to about, I don't know, you could say maybe about 47. So it's roughly in a 10 to 15 point trading range. And so prices weren't going anywhere fast. So same thing here. I didn't really like taking any entries here when the price action is so tight in this trading range, because this trading range is about 2 to 3 points wide. So you'd have to have a really perfect setup down here with a really strong confirmed range to go short or long. Prices moved up. So the first thing I noticed is I thought there was maybe a larger trading range. This could be the highs. And the lows, I wasn't too sure. I wasn't sure if it was going to be here. It kind of looked like it could touch here and here, but it has this pretty big breakout. Or it could have been the low here. But I did think that most likely there was some kind of resistance here, especially when it tried a third time here. So it pushes up, and I saw a new low here. It's a first entry short, pull back, second entry short, confirmed second entry short. Now I wanted this to be more bearish because this is a decent signal bar, but then when the second entry short is confirmed by this signal bar, by this trigger bar, you don't have a nice close, and it does have two legs up. Now, if you were playing off the potential of this being resistance, you could also see this as a fail breakout. Or if you took it even higher, then this is potentially a triple test. It tried one attempt up, two attempts up, third attempt up. And I thought, okay, well, the next candle is going to dictate what happens. If it breaks below this guy, then it probably was a trade. But just the way it was set up, I wasn't prepared to get an order ready because I just didn't quite like the setup. So now it flashes down. So definitely you have a confirmed either triple test or failed breakout. Also a true confirmed second entry short. But after this happened, the EMA is right here pretty flat, but it is starting to trend up. So here I felt it was too late to take a trade because if you took it at the lows here, you don't really have enough room to scalp out before the EMA. And you could say, well, I'm playing range rules. That's true, except I don't know where the bottom of the range is. So I really don't know if it's going to come back down to here to bounce or down to here. So I needed a little more confirmation. I thought if there was a lower high confirmation in the next couple bars, then maybe I'll take a trade to go short. But unfortunately, you don't get the lower high. It comes right back up. Then prices continue chopping. It's just really slow, really congested price action. Things are just side by side. I didn't really like anything today. Then it starts moving up on this yellow uptrend. I draw this as one potential leg up, and I'm wondering if it's going to come up and meet this second leg up. It doesn't quite meet it. It breaks out of this yellow up channel, makes one attempt up, pulls back. Here, it makes a second entry long, and it looks like it's bouncing off potential some kind of support here. But it didn't really coincide with anything else, so all you really have is a double bottom test right here. So it pushes up again, and now it looks like the second entry long is about to fail because they made one push up, pull back, second push up. And I saw this as a break of the yellow channel, first attempt up, didn't meet the highs, pull back, second attempt up, and here it looks like it's about to fail. EMA really isn't an issue right now, it's just too sideways, so you don't really use that. And then it flashes down. Now I thought, okay, this might have been a trade. Unfortunately, I feel like it's too late. It's been very tight price action up until this point. And I thought if I wanted to put an entry way up here, that felt risky because you're asking on the next candle to recover all that push, pick you up, and then continue back down. Well, if it does move all the way back up, nothing really says that it couldn't continue upwards and stop you out. And definitely I didn't want to put one tick below this guy because now I'm worried about this potential double bottom here, which you do have just enough to scalp out, but it feels very risky. Actually, I don't think you have enough to scalp out. It's 40, 51, 40, 25. So we'll see 40, 25, and you need to get out at 39, 25. So you have to push below this double bottom. So this is, it is a possible trade if I think you had a little bit more aggressive, or you were able to enter on this candle, which I wasn't. So I had to let it go. Prices continue moving. Now I draw this yellow down channel. It's bouncing around, comes up. It's just really choppy. I don't really like any of this. At this point, I was drawing all kinds of lines here to see if there was some kind of bigger channel going on. And I ended up drawing this one. Well, this was one of the candidates at one point, but it only touched twice, so I don't really have a confirmation. Prices are moving. It breaks above the pre-market high. It touches here and it starts moving back down. So out of all the trend lines I had drawn, I'd settled on this one potentially being a channel. It touched nicely here, touched nicely here. Now, I saw this a little late, but I think if I did see in real time or realize it in real time, it felt a little aggressive still because you have a new low here. You have a first leg up, pull back, second leg up. So it's a visual first entry short, second entry short. On the visual, it is pushing already at the very high of the day. Not the highest it's ever been because that's the green dotted line, which was made on Friday, but it is at the high of the day. It's starting to come back down. There's enough room from here down to not only the pre-market high, but also the EMA. If the EMA is starting to act as support, but I wasn't sure. I really wanted a lower high confirmation, probably to show up on this next candle and close nicely bearish, but above here to give me enough room to scalp out. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. It just kind of pushes down and then it starts chopping around again. It was a possible trade, I think, but you had to be aggressive and you had to kind of see what was going on and trust the strength of the measured move, and ideally have this purple panel already established. And I didn't really quite have all that in real time to kind of consider. And unfortunately, that's the only last setup that I saw because the rest of the day, it just really grinds and doesn't really do much because you have a new low here, first entry short, second entry short here, and you're thinking, well, price is going to come back down. Up until this point, prices look like they're slowly grinding up. So you're thinking, okay, maybe there's a failed second entry short. Get a failed second entry short, but it's not very convincing. This body is the same size as this body, and it just barely broke above. It didn't even break above the previous high. And then it starts moving, and you just I guess you just get trapped in this choppy mess. Seeing this, I was just okay not taking a trade. Prices then move up. It breaks out of this purple finally. I don't see any good clean second entries. Technically, you have a new low here. You have a first entry short here, second entry short. This isn't a very good signal bar to go short. You have a decent trigger bar here, but I don't, other than just having this very bearish bar and you're already pushing the highs, I don't know that you necessarily just say, well, I guess it's a good enough trade to take because it could end up being something like here and it continue back upwards. Then it moves into a trading range again. It's very choppy price action. Nothing that I particularly like. You do have a new low here. It's a first entry short. Pull back, second entry short. This second entry short I considered, but it's the same reason I didn't really like the second entry short is it's kind of already pressing at the highs. I didn't have this drawn as a trading range just yet, so I didn't have that to play with. But you do have enough room to the EMA. You are pushing at the highs. You're thinking there might be a small recovery after this break, this yellow channel, one push up, second push up. Maybe there's a trade here, but I wasn't sure. And up until this point, it's hard to see unless you look at the timestamp, but these candles are taking quite a bit of time to close. So you'd be sitting in any kind of trade you took, waiting for 2, maybe 3 minutes to see what would happen. And I don't really particularly like when I have to sit for that long on a day that really isn't that impressive. And prices continue moving. Creates a first entry long here, pull back second entry long, but the second entry long, it's not very clean, it's not very clear. So it's actually more like a first entry long. Then prices start moving down on this green channel. And it's already getting late to the last 30 minutes of the day. So I'm not, after sitting through all this, and this is the whole day, there's not that many candles compared to other days. I decided that, okay, well, I'm just going to scratch the day and, not do anything stupid and just continue watching. Prices move up. It made one leg down, pull back, second leg down. You have first entry long here. Technically, you have a second entry long, but nothing here is telling me to go long. Plus, I'm entering the last 10 minutes of the day now, which is just kind of a no trade area because price action starts to accelerate, gets a little whippy because people are closing out their positions, and that kind of hops into the close while respecting the EMA. So it was a very slow, kind of disappointing day because when I look back and I saw these big swings, I looked back a few times thinking, was there a trade setup that I missed? Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't, but from my perspective, there really wasn't any good setups, you know, except for maybe this one, and this one felt a little risky. I had to trust the strength of its measured move 2 legs up. So overall, it was kind of a snooze day. So probably a day that had I known it was going to be like this, you would just skip it and I don't know, do something else. So hopefully that was helpful.